Hello and good morning from the UK. We are back Olympia win, which it still feels really surreal to say it. You know, I've taken a week off to kind of try and process it and acknowledge the achievement, which I have done for sure. But, you know, with 14 weeks to go, technically 13 weeks as of today, it's one of those, we don't have much time to really sit in it for too long. So I'm going to try and do like a brief summary, although with my social media ready, and then this will kind of round up the pro debut season, and then we're going to go straight into the road to Olympia, which I'm going to get some footage today of my first proper leg session back. Since I've been back, I've done one upper body very light pump session and one very light leg session. So today we're refueled again. I feel like ready to rock and roll, so it's going to be interesting to see if we can push the weight up a little bit more. As you guys know, I love to lift heavy. So thoughts and feelings on the kind of the whole summary. You know, we off the back of what we talked about in Reno, I went into kind of the next phase with a completely different mindset. I shut down social media. I was like, right, you know, I know that right now it doesn't matter, like me posting progress pictures and all that kind of stuff. And to be honest, I was deep in the hole. You know, me and Con we had to go 0 carbs, 60 minutes of cardio, still stick with my training, try and still do my routine. And when I mean in New York, I was a walking zombie. Like, it felt like a complete out of body experience, I guess. It was like I was there, but I wasn't there. It was just doing what was necessary to kind of make sure that we dropped the weight. And, you know, in that week, in the 2 weeks into show, we managed to drop 3 kilos, which just proves how much water I was holding. And I think biggest highlight for us was how much stress can affect my body. You know, to hold 3 kilos of water and not go to the toilet for 48 hours before you get on the stage is not ideal, but it is what it is. It's a learning curve for us. And then I was able to kind of use that, strip it right back to basics going into Toronto. You know, my girl Nicole was there with me, and after New York, it was like, all right, we drove all the way into Toronto, which was really cool. There was like absolutely stunning scenery. I think I got some photos and videos. I'll send them to Chris. We can maybe put them in here somewhere. It was definitely more about just kind of being in the moment, thinking about what was the next step in front of me rather than thinking about the end goal at that point, which, you know, I'm very good at trying to like almost push forward and not think about the process going forward, think about being in the moment, I guess, if that makes sense. So when we got to Toronto, the space was amazing. Like the Airbnb was just like very serene, very peaceful. You know, my son, we had a good conversation about, you know, in this peak week, it's just going to be a lot more slow, a lot more chilled. And I think having the pool in the Airbnb helped because it meant he could go in the water, he could splash around, he could have fun, he could burn his own energy. We could go for walks and get my steps in, but I didn't have one of the things Connor said that he really noticed when he got to Reno is I was just trying to stretch myself far too thin. You know, it was like, okay, I need to do everything that he's asking me to do. Then I want to go and do day trips and all that kind of stuff with my son. And, you know, there comes a point where we have to kind of minimize that, keep it really simple, and strip it right back to basics. So all of my basics went back in, my yoga every day, journaling, meditation was massive for me. That's something that kind of just went out the window in Reno. I'm trying to think what else. That was really kind of it. I think the good energy of Nicole helped, you know. When I did go on social media, there was a lot of noise around athletes and stuff like that. And rather than me using it as, okay, well, almost the public have already decided who's going to win this show, it was like, I have to remember, and Nicole said this to me, it's your rookie season. You're the underdog here. Like, you're not already an Olympian. So it doesn't matter. If anybody should be worried, it should be all your competitors. So let the social media do what they need to do, project what they need to project. All you need to do is channel in on going in there with the goal of winning. So peak week was as seamless as it could be. You know, we were always going to be chasing somewhat of our tail because the last peak dictated this one going in, as Connor says. But I was really proud of the look on show day. Could my waist have been tighter? 100%. Could have my quads been more feathered? Absolutely. Could we have had bigger shoulders? Yes, we could. But for me, that's all stuff that we're able to look at and know that going into this next kind of very short growth season, that we need to keep all of that stuff under control. You know, my waist being probably, I would believe, one of my weakest areas. And we're waiting for just feedback on that. You know, I've asked them to just be brutally honest. I don't want them to stroke my ego. I want brutal, hard feedback so we know exactly where we need to improve. So for this growth season, we're only going up to maintenance. The goal is to keep stage weight, only 2 to 3 kg maximum will push up, and we're hoping that's going to mainly come from muscle growth as opposed to fat gain. And yeah, keeping the waist tight. In my last growth phase, I kind of let the waist go and was focusing on growth and like lifting heavy. I wasn't really wearing my belt, I wasn't really doing vacuums. So this time that has to stay at the forefront of my mind, that daily vacuums have got to be in the plan. I've got to wear my belt when I'm training, waist trainer on. All those little caveats right now are going to be the difference between where I place at Olympia. My posing coach, I see him on Saturday, and we're going to just strip it right back. We're going to obviously do what is sensible, look at the athletes that are the best in the world, look at what their posing looks like, and then compare it to my physique and how we can tailor my posing and my posing routine for my strengths, because obviously we all have our own strengths and areas that we excel at. And then on Friday, whole new routine is coming, everybody. Don't want to give too much away, although by the time this is released, I think we've got bloods done today, so once those come back, we'll be looking at different assistants than we've used previously, just to kind of, you know, catch up with the big girls that have been doing this for 10 years plus. Just we want to come in a little bit harder than we did this time, a little bit tighter, and hopefully with a little bit more growth, because when it comes to growing, I will go hell for leather to make sure that we bring the best possible package that I could bring to that Olympia stage. So with that, I guess we go and start the new series of Road to Olympia. Let's go.